Bible underneath my right hand. I made it out of tight jams. Guns all on my nightstand. My life should be on Vice land. My fingertips to hold the marijuana aroma. High school, I went to school high, still got my diploma. He got riddled and left alone for some Skittles in Arizona. The same time a man dies by his own for a pair of Jordan. It's crazy how we living. We all misguided children. Niggas out here getting got, trying to figure out how to get it. We the ones that's not afraid to let the hammers off. The same ones that feed the homeless with the cameras off. The life I'm living kinda hard to get a handle on. But I'm blessed and God knows I can't be mad at all.
Todd's been a client for a long time, and we have had so many great chats in the studio, in California, all over. And I knew when we started doing Uncreative Radio, he was the type of person that I wanted to sit down in front of. Uncreative Radio, I'm with one of my favorite people, and actually C&I's favorite client, Todd from Komuso. We don't call you Todd here at the studio, we call you Todd from Komuso.
That's my name. I've changed it. It rolls better.
Yeah, we call you Todd from Komuso. That's just it. But no, you... Man, I was looking through emails because I was actually trying to find that brand film that we talked about a long time ago. It was a car commercial, and Volvo. I was literally going to text you which one was it. It was Volvo.
And it's so emotional.
It's so
this
emotional.
Guy going through this journey on the road, and he's really experiencing all the emotions as he's just driving. And somehow Volvo captured that.
Yeah,
right?
It was unbelievable. And I was looking for that, and then it dated our emails back to how long. And it was like, it's like 2016, 17.
Yeah, and I remember saying, can you do this?
Yeah, and I was like, we can do this.
Yeah, I think if you can evoke that kind of emotion from a car commercial, then you can do it from Komuso.
Yeah, man.
And you guys crushed it.
It was really cool to start that journey. And then what was really such a cool difference for me was how much like faith and trust you gave us. Like most clients, the reason you guys are number one, most clients are like, oh, do it this way, or here's the script, but we want you to do this, but we need this, but this is what we want. Can you just, and they stand over our shoulders and they're, you know, it's like almost like we're just robots at that point. You guys let us just do it.
Well, it's like imagine asking Henry David Thoreau to change a line or to tweak his style, right? It's just who he is. And we saw your stuff
right.
And we've seen your studio, and it's just like you guys have an accent and a special sauce that I don't want to mess with that. Like that's who you are, and that's what I want you to create for the brand.
Yeah.
And man, it looks good.
Dude, it just means so much. It just means so much that we were able to create like that. And every time you come back with another project, everyone's just like, Todd from Komuso. I'm like, guys, we got another one from Todd from Komuso.
Well, do you remember you were at our wedding?
Yeah, man.
So it's it gets personal.
Yeah, it does get personal, and that's what's been really cool because like it's seeing you guys get married, and then starting this company. But before you guys got married, Vanessa was at Perry Ellis.
Yeah, she's a fashion designer.
And then you were Extreme Trips.
Yeah.
How did you guys both? You know, because it's a lot. You guys are. Because you're not in your 20s, man. We're up there.
We're talking, yeah.
But a lot of people, that's not when you make the move to, quit your sure thing.
So, there's a point in my life where I felt like I had to reinvent myself. And we're talking about like violent turns. And I ran a student travel business for 10 years called Extreme Trips.
Right.
And we literally traveled thousands of crazy college students to Mexico for spring break.
Right.
Where everything happened. I mean, so we're talking about this stress just building and building. I mean, we literally had a kid this is at 11 o'clock at night, pre-gaming.
Stop it.
At our hotel.
Stop it.
On the 5th floor.
Stop.
Try to see his friend on the 3rd floor, so he figured that he could just kind of rappel himself down.
Stupid.
Missed the 3rd floor, plummeted to the ground.
What? He tried?
So you hear a thud, right?
Yeah.
And then people screaming.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, this is over, right? Someone just died. So I go over to him, and the kid, this is great, right? So the kid broke his leg. Well, it's not great that he broke his leg, right? But breaks his leg, and he's like, no, man, I'm good. Obviously, he's on like 10 different kinds of
what. You know what?
So he's like, no, I'm good.
So he was on 11th floor. He rappels down to try to go to the 3rd floor.
He just figures, look, man, I'm not going to go waste my time to the elevator and deal with that, right?
Stupid elevators.
Come on, it would take like 2 minutes.
I'll go 11 stories up and
So
jump down.
jumps. Figures that he could grab onto the railing.
What a freaking
Who
idiot.
wouldn't do that, right? So he misses the railing, falls down
To the ground.
to the ground, goes to the hospital, and this is where the story takes another turn, right? So he's got to spend the night in the hospital, and our company policy is we have to call your parents, right?
Yeah, duh.
So his dad flies out the next day
To Mexico.
to Mexico.
Where's his dad? Where's his dad?
So his dad was in, I think, North Carolina.
Get
So
outta
this
here.
dad's got to drop everything on a Tuesday because his son
Decided to be
Decided to-
Batman.
right? Spider-Man, Batman, right? So he comes, and I'm expecting this really angry person, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you just put my son in this situation.
let
How
my
dare
kid-
you?
right.
Yeah. So he comes in and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm so sorry about my son. He's an idiot." I was like, "I love you
Thank
for
you.
saying that."
Thank
Yeah.
you. Your son actually is an idiot.
And he has about a 3-minute conversation with the kid, and then he comes up to me and says, "Tell me where the pool party is." And I'm like, "Really?" And he wants to go party. He's like, "If my son can't party, I'm gonna do it for him."
Wow.
This guy goes to the pool party, must be 50 years old, and kills it. Has a great time.
Get outta
Has
here.
that. Extreme trips.
Get out of here. So you were after that
Real
trip,
story.
you were like, fuck that, I'm out.
Yeah, man. Well, then there was some not so good stories, right? I mean,
Right,
we're talking
right.
about, 19-year-old kids trying to be badass.
How long did you do this?
10 years.
Get out of here.
10
So you
years.
have all the stories.
I mean, I've literally given CPR to a girl outside of a nightclub because she just drank too much
No.
and did too many drugs.
No.
And there's, airplane issues. There's all kinds of, we're talking about like really wealthy parents who
Right.
send their kids.
Yes.
So they have like lofty expectations of what's happening.
Yeah.
So we have to act as babysitters and as, just a company, right?
Yeah.
So what do?
Note to self, stay poor. Don't send freedom on extreme trips. Go ahead.
Don't do it. I've seen bad things, man.
Yeah, man.
Bad things. And that's when I took my wife. The first year I met her was the year I was leaving. And
Right.
I brought her at 6:00 to the end of the pool party. And it looked like a bomb went off. Just
Right.
bodies.
Just
and-
everywhere.
Yeah. And she's like, "Yeah, so you're not going to do this anymore, right?" That's when it was time.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
and then,
first
and how old are you then? Because most people don't take a change of career.
So I started when I was 25 with a partner and
Wow.
then ended it at 35. And, it was just one of those things where I needed a break.
Yeah, man.
I was tight. I
Yeah.
was stressed out.
Yeah.
It was too many years of, my hair's falling out, man. It's like, I don't have much of it left, right?
Yeah.
So
And just dealing with it.
dealing with it. I mean, we're
Kids.
talking about going to sleep at night, knowing you have lives in your hands
Yeah.
and knowing that someone could get really hurt on your watch.
No thanks.
Just to try to have fun. It just didn't add up to me.
No
We're
thanks.
giving people a great time, but I figured I had better things to do in this world.
And the liability stress. I'm sure when you stop doing that, you're like, oh, I'm just worried about me now and my
Yeah.
family.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was time to grow up. Peter Pan.
Good grief, man. And so, okay, so Komuso's awesome. We've worked with you guys for a really long time.
Thank you.
And it's a really dope brand. Like what you're building it to is awesome. How has it been challenging to, you guys have a kid now? Like how is it, being a parent, having a family and running a business? What does that
So-
feel like? Because that's what I always try to talk to people about, where you're trying to like align with people and they're like, oh, I get what you mean. Like you don't get what I mean. Like you don't, and only if you've experienced that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we live down the street from your studio.
Yeah.
And I see your damn car at 11 o'clock at night. And it makes me feel bad that I'm not working hard enough. This is true. So, no, but it's crazy, right? Because you have a kid, you're worrying about the kid 24/7. And when
Yeah.
you have a business, you're worrying about the business 24/7. And then when you have the two of them in conjunction with each other, it's just constant juggling.
Right.
So you have to learn to manage stress, right?
Yeah.
You have to learn to kind of prioritize what's important and what comes first and how to organize your time in your life.
Right.
And then the curveball here is that we actually live in a 1-bedroom loft with no walls. So we have a baby,
Yeah.
a business, a dog, and the two of us. There is nowhere to run.
Oh, man.
Nowhere to run. You
just all out there.
you get into a fight with your wife, you better solve it.
Yeah, you got no,
There's an issue with the kid, you better deal with
you
it.
better handle it.
It forces you to do it. So, but it's just, look, it's a wild experience. And I think what most entrepreneurs think is, look, you choose this life, right? You didn't just fall into it.
Right.
We chose it,
Right.
right?
This is what we wanted.
I'm not complaining about it. It's an awesome experience.
Right.
And the fact that, I think for me, it was, I had an advertising job right out of school.
Right.
And I worked there for 3 years, and it was just like the most depressing time of my life. And I never forget thinking, I'm leasing my life. I'm like, I think I'm
Right.
renting this.
I'm giving you 3 years.
Somebody owns me.
A contract. Here you go.
Now, Todd, I need you in at 9 a.m. and I need you
Sure.
to do these TPS reports. And it was like, it's like, I want to control my life.
Right.
And if that means putting in 70, 80 hours a week into something I love,
It's worth it.
let's do it.
worth
And
it.
yeah, you're risking everything, right? You got
Right.
a mortgage, a kid, all these bills. But if you feel intrinsically like it's supposed to happen, if you have the vision, you got to go for it, right?
Right.
You have one life, do it.
Right. Do you believe in a work-life balance? This is the thing that millennials all tell me. They're always talking to me about a work-life balance. It makes me want to choke them to death, but that's what everyone always tells me about.
Work-life sacrifice, right?
Hey,
so there's sacrifice.
Listen up, 22-year-olds.
Come here. Well, you know what? They want to squeeze the most out of life. I don't blame them, right? But the best advice I could give them is really, not that they're asking me for it, but is more compounding interest, right? I mean, Einstein said it's the most powerful force in the world.
Right.
Because if you just give it a little bit every day, it's going to just keep building and building and building, like C&I, right?
Right.
Did you start out like this?
Absolutely not.
No. You
Absolutely
start out
not.
a little shit.
Right.
And then you
Absolutely.
just keep growing
And
it and
keep
growing it
taking
and
it.
learning and adjusting and learning and adjusting and growing. And, I look at Komuso and, we're not even 2 years in and it's like, wow, look what we're able to accomplish
man.
in just a year and 10 months.
Yeah.
It's like we're a brand now. We're out there. People know about us.
Just for people to understand, who's buying some of these things? You were telling me some cool stories. Like, who's buying some Komuso? I don't even know if you can say their names, but
Yeah,
there's
so-
some people are buying these things.
So we've had professional athletes. I think the coolest story is we had, we look at these orders come in. My wife and I fulfill these orders.
Right.
We're
You're
literally
in the one bedroom.
packaging them on our bed and on our dining room. But we're actually we've graduated to fulfillment centers now, so that's great. But we were fulfilling an order, and I saw an address come in from somewhere in LA. It looked like a really ritzy address. They ordered like 8 different necklaces. So I was like, wow, like, honey, look at this. This is amazing, right?
Right.
And we looked at the address, felt a little stalkerish doing
Right.
that, but it ended up being Matt Damon's wife.
My God.
And it was like, whoa. And then 4 days later, she reordered another 4. And then she ordered another 5. And it was like, whoa, dude, Matt Damon's maybe wearing this necklace. It just felt so cool, right?
Absolutely.
Not to be too starstruck by it, but
Jason Bourne's out there blowing Komuso.
he's able to do his jujitsu because of this stuff, right?
in between shots.
Yeah, so it's the validation of people that and then it gets serious, right? There's people with autism, people with ADHD that we get an email that says, "Thank you so much. Like, my kid's able to control his emotions now. We're able to deal with life better." And it's like, it brings up some emotion, right? Like, whoa, we're actually having a real impact on people's lives rather than provide a venue for kids to do drugs and alcohol.
Right. Yeah,
a little different.
You flopped it. It's an interesting world, though, man. Like, if you think about what kids are going through these days, their lockdown drills at schools, that, like, they're the bullying that doesn't, when you and I were bullied, it stopped at 3.
Yeah.
We got to go home.
Yeah.
Mom, dad, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it resumed the next day or maybe whatever. This is like nonstop bullying. It's physically in school. Now it's also on Instagram, whether the kids are on TikTok. You know about TikTok? That's the thing.
I just heard about that.
What is
yesterday.
this?
You know about TikTok,
I
Mark?
just learned about TikTok yesterday, actually.
This is a thing.
It's like Instagram for kids.
I don't even know. My
Yeah,
daughter,
pretty much.
my daughter was like, I got 7,000 views on. I was like, what? Give me this. What are you?
What were you doing to get 7,000
What are
views?
you on your thing here? Get out of here. We're turning off the Wi-Fi. But yeah, I think it's interesting, like the stress that now these like 13, 14-year-olds are going through, and they have access to all this stuff is like unbelievable.
So then, do you think your kids would have been better off growing up in your childhood and your decade?
I'll be really real with you right now. Like there's a problem I'm having right now. My daughter this is her last year in elementary school. So now she is going to go to middle school. Fort Lauderdale has like the shittiest middle schools.
Yep.
Like they have elementary school and it's great. And then after that it's like
ranked 2
Exactly. Literally.
of 100.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, okay, well, I could go to what's the preppy school we were talking about? What's that prep school?
St. Andrews?
No. It's like a
St. Thomas.
no. Pinecrest. All her friends are going to Pinecrest.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, well, she could be like 1 out of 3 black kids at like Pinecrest, paying, God knows how much money. But then I feel like she doesn't have like, I grew up in the hood. She doesn't have that like, that street smarts.
Yup.
So I'm like, okay, well, I'll send her to Fort Lauderdale or Sunrise Middle School. And then she's just like in the trenches, like making rap albums. And so, you know what I mean?
So how do you split the...
So which one do you go with? Like, that's my literal dilemma that I'm in right now.
So I grew up in downtown Chicago, right? And my parents wanted me to go to a school. I forgot what the program was, but the school had to have a certain amount of poor kids, rich kids, white kids, black kids, Spanish kids, whatever. And thank God they did, because I could have gone to these private schools, Parker or Latin in Chicago, that are very upscale, very safe, right? Very private. But the experience I got from being able to have a best friend that needed a free lunch at school, that cultures that I would have never run into, it shaped me as a person. But to your point, would I want, I have a son now, like would I want him to go to a school that's a little edgy? I don't know.
And then you feel like if you have something that you can do about it, you're busting your ass at CNI, like, should I just pull this Pinecrest? But I don't want her to be like, I want her to be both. I want her to have some street smarts, some book smarts, but you want her to have a good education at the same time. And you feel like you're just in Fort Lauderdale.
So if you had to choose right now, what is it?
I think if I choose right now.
If money isn't an issue, what is it?
Sadly, I think it's like a Pinecrest move.
I probably would too.
Because it's just like, man, like.
They're probably raised by good families.
Yeah, and just, it's probably a Pinecrest thing. But I will say, to the Sunrise middle schools in the inner cities of the world, none of those school shootings are ever happening in inner cities. Mark, you ever think about that?
That's a very, very good point.
If you think about that, like, if you're in the hood, no one's going to shoot up that school. You got to deal with,
That's actually a really good point.
Drugs and alcohol.
You never hear about it.
It doesn't happen. It's happening in like, Weston, Parkland, and these safe suburban. That scares the living crap out of it.
But hold on. But you go to Chicago, right? Chirac. You got these kids in
different game.
Yeah, but they're getting shot up on the street.
Absolutely.
You don't hear about it.
You definitely don't hear about it.
Why don't you hear about it, Josh?
You hear about it because it's just like,
because probably they're not white kids, right?
Absolutely.
So that's, it's a stigma there.
It's like new. It's like what's news, what we decide to be newsworthy and what's not newsworthy.
Exactly.
Kid walking into Parkland, killing 17 people, newsworthy. Like this drug deal gone bad in Chicago and someone got shot. Like,
but here's where I'll get political, right? Like, why does the school shooting happen in Parkland? And there's two teams in politics, right? One team is pro gun rights, and the other team is let's change gun rights. Let's do something about gun control. And then a vote happens, 2018, right? Or sorry, the midterms in 2018 happen. And nothing changes. No one comes out and votes.
It's unbelievable because I think both of those arguments are so, like, the argument on this side is like, we want to keep these guns. The argument on the other side, where like I come from, is like, kids just shouldn't be killed. Like, period. Like that's it. Like, keep kids safe. And
why do you need a machine gun?
I mean, come on. And it's interesting because like people talk about like, it's like a military style weapon. So you're just like, okay, well, we can't have grenade launchers. We can't have tanks. Why can we have this thing? It should just be something that's just like, hey, we're not allowed to have. And if we were able to change that, like if they went away, you're just at less deaths, period. Because I think if you're a parent, I mean, every day there's a part of me that's just like, all right, Mike, is it your school? Is it this time? Is it,
We are the only industrialized country in the world that does not have
It's
gun
stupid.
control. I don't get it.
And when you hear the other side's argument, they're like, they're taking away our guns and the Second Amendment. It's like, dude,
freedom.
But they're not, man. It's just like, we're saying you shouldn't have that gun.
Can you just not have a bazooka?
Could you just not have?
Can you do without that for a day?
Can you not have that gun? And I think that's like the weirdest thing. If someone came into your house and was like, hey man, like we just really, if this dining room table is like killing people, you'd be like, oh yeah, just getting rid of it.
Right.
Like I don't want to do that. I don't want to do anything that's going to hurt innocent people. It's out of here.
But then, so what, Josh? What about knives? You're going to outlaw knives?
It's just a thing. I mean, it's just you can't go into a school and kill 20 people with a knife. You just can't.
Yep.
It's not going to happen.
In 30 seconds.
Exactly. In 9 seconds, someone's going to tackle you to the ground. You're not going to. And so it's just like the arguments on each side is just that, dude, if you drive a car, if you need insurance, whatever it is, you have to walk through these paces. You have to go through these paces. But here in Fort Lauderdale, you can go and just get an AR-14 at the next gun show, and that's what needs to be changed. It's not like we just need to say, hey, take every gun, bury them, and never use them. It's this, but that thing, the thing that is the common denominator. And what was interesting, what Trump said is the have you seen the vaping? All the kids are what's the one, Mark? What's the what? Oh yeah,
the eighth death just happened.
The eighth death. So it's all over the news, and they're saying, hey, we gotta get rid of this, and then I don't know,
just certain flavors.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they were just like Captain Crunch has to go.
Just the peach flavor.
Yeah, but you got these, and then you get 380 some thousand, so many people, 350. I can't remember how many people that just died from gun violence, and we're just like, no, that's okay.
Yeah.
The thing that really killed me was when Sandy Hook happened. When that happened to that elementary school in Connecticut, I literally thought, okay,
This is it.
I thought we're changing it after this.
Yeah.
Just an elementary school.
Silver lining, right?
And the fact that we didn't was like, oh shit, America, we are toast. And that was it for me. So after that, I was just like, yeah, I mean, they didn't do anything about that. They're not going to do anything about anything.
Yeah. And it's the thing is now that I have a kid, that becomes real.
It's a real issue. And for me, you know, as you raise your children and put them out in that world, it's a little scary. And that, I don't know, especially as it's a voting year, what do you find, is that like the most important issue to you? What do you find? Because it's interesting, like you said, like I see all these people from our staff, I tell this story all the time, people from our staff, when Parkland happened, they were like, oh my God, this is crazy. I'm putting on social media. And they drove 16 hours to Washington, D.C. to march.
Good.
Cool.
Good.
But they didn't go like 20 feet to City Hall and vote.
The voting booth
The
wins.
voting booth, man.
So, yes.
And they're counting on us not. Like,
Right.
That's the whole deal.
Well, because it works, right? You sell fear.
yeah.
But it's like this, right? There's gun control, obviously, that's important to me. How can we not do something about climate change? It's
Yeah.
like we have
Yeah.
the science,
Yeah.
but it's still
It's-
jury's out.
It's a weird thing with
Jury's
people.
out.
It's a weird thing though with people. Like if I was like, hey Todd, if you put this shirt on, it will give you cancer. You would be like, I'm not putting that on.
Right.
But people hear these cigarette label warnings and stuff like that, and they're just like, oh, yeah, whatever. And they're doing that to an infinite degree with climate change. Like, yo, we have data. This thing is going downhill right now if we don't do anything. It's like, yeah, but it looks great outside.
Well, but I want to talk to millennials, right? Like
Right.
they didn't show up
Yeah.
in 16.
Dude, they're not showing up.
You didn't have your perfect candidate.
Right.
Boo-hoo, right? Vote. It matters.
Yeah, it really does.
You know, like I'm sorry Bernie didn't make it. But
Yeah.
guess who we have now?
Yeah, we've got this girl, Hillary. She's like, she has.
The emails.
Here's the thing about Hillary is this is like she worked her entire life in public service. So like,
But you don't want to have a beer with her. That's the problem.
Yeah,
That's culture now.
yeah, but I don't really care.
I don't wanna have a beer with her.
I don't care that Elizabeth Warren's like FaceTime, you know, like live stream. Like I really don't care. I just want someone that's like not a racist. That's not like in cahoots with Russia, and someone that believes that we're all equal and
And not trying to line their own pockets, right?
yeah. Oh my God, when I saw all that stuff.
But what's your message to millennials?
My message to millennials is rough too, because on the business sense, it's like you guys got to work harder. You guys got too much stuff handed
Do
to you,
something.
and you don't understand. You haven't done anything to deserve what you've got. You went to your college, and then you're out of it. Someone told you should make $60,000, but like you don't know anything, and so it's like they really need to. Like apprenticeships. They really need to come in and study and learn some stuff, and I think they don't want to do the work.
So it's like for us, right? We have social media for Komuso, and we get these millennials who they try to start a fight with us because
Right.
we have products by gender.
Sure.
You know,
Right.
like, we have a men's necklace and a women's necklace. The
necklace.
only reason we do that is because most men like a shorter cord, right? Like a shorter chain.
Right.
We're not saying you can't have this because you're a man or a woman. It's just we're just guiding the purchase. So they take up these battles with us. Like, how could you do this? This is, you know, I was gonna buy your product, but now I can't.
Right.
Because it's gendered.
I just can't
Like,
get.
that's the fight you're starting?
Dude, I can't. Here's the thing about the liberals, man. Like, here's what I like about Republicans. They're on the same team.
Yep. Same voice.
They're not gonna sway from. They're not gonna. And liberals, like when we get in this message, they're attacking like people that are doing something great. It's like, why are you doing that? And it's feel like, yeah, man. Like you can buy whatever necklace you want. Like you can do that. Like whichever one you would like to pick. But like I don't understand why it's like this cancel culture and this like trying to create issues. That is like a liberal thing that drives me nuts.
Yeah, it's like, hey, maybe turn your fire on something that matters. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, climate change, gun control,
Anything.
Whatever. right?
Anything, man. But like you're going after things and you're attacking people that like have the values that we should want, but you're picking this really small microscopic thing like what these comedians should be making jokes about. Who cares? Can we just all get to the polls and like vote about immigration and what they're doing to these detention centers in Miami?
Yeah.
But it kind of falls off, man.
Well, and it's just crazy, right? Because you have people upset about issues that don't even affect them.
Right.
Like, well, these Mexicans are coming into our country and taking our
Right.
jobs. Whose jobs?
Right.
Where is it affecting you?
I
don't see them.
I would
Are
love
they under the bed? Or
I would love. I mean, I travel all the time. Every hotel is like serviced by one, ethnicity. Every farm that I see on all these political
picking
shoots,
the fruit, right?
and I don't see any any people, any middle class or any upper class people that are saying, that's my job. No, man. So I just don't even get that. I don't even get that argument. It just makes no sense to me.
But what? Look, I try my best to be compassionate, right?
Sure.
So let's try to understand the other team's point of view.
Sure.
Maybe they're just not evolved. Maybe because of their upbringing, they were wronged in a certain way. Like I understand that some people think that welfare, they're helping these lazy people.
Right.
Well, that's not fair. These are my tax dollars.
Right.
I worked for this.
Right.
You're on your couch.
This was a weird story that I because I went and shot the Daytona 500, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna drive up here, and this was such a weird moment for me. So this was probably when I first got to Florida. So I'm driving up there, and I just obviously the cars and the Hondas are now turning into pickup trucks and pickup trucks and pickup trucks. I'm like, oh, it's a thing.
Confederate flags.
Yeah, so I'm like Confederate flags here. So like, okay, now I'm in the thick of it, and I'm down on the speedway, and all the cars are going boom, 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 and I'm filming, doing my job. This dude up in the stands literally stands up and goes, "Move, nigger, can't see."
Oh.
And so I'm just like, oh, I like freeze, and I'm kind of like, what do I do? So I'm like,
what did you do?
I just picked up my camera and moved. And then he goes, "Thank you." But like, I was like,
welcome.
But I was like, I was offended at first, but then I was like, I'm still offended. But I'm kind of like, this is how this dude was raised. He's not saying this to be like super disrespecting to me. That's the word he knows to call me. That's what is in his brain.
So it's like, what if you grew up in Alabama?
Exactly.
And that's what you were exposed to your whole life. You're a white kid.
Exactly.
That's all you hear.
And that's what you know.
You're trying to fit in.
Right. So that's what you know. So he was like, thank you. Literally a kind person, but just didn't know using the wrong word. So it's kind of like, parents, you play such an important role in these kids' life because you're raising that.
I remember I was on the road in the South, and this is for Extreme Trips, and we got to this, we were meeting some student reps at a restaurant, and, good kids.
Yeah.
19-year-old kids in fraternities and sororities, and they walk in camo gear. They were just deer. These are like pretty blonde girls shooting deer. And it's like, okay, hey, your culture, got
right, that's your thing.
And I never forget, I looked down. You had your moment, I had mine. I looked down, and I saw a swastika carved into the table, and it's
No. There's some things that you just like. There's some things that you're just like.
How long has this been here for?
That's what I feel like the MAGA hat is, man. It's just the new, like, can you imagine someone walking around with a swastika hat?
Yeah, we're back, right? It's like it's a movement that. But look, I think that the fever will break soon,
right?
And I think it's coming, and I think
it's
up to the millennials, right?
It's the biggest group of people. It's the biggest group of people that's got to vote.
Vote.
God,
get off your couch.
I want to play rapid fire with you.
Do it.
These are some quick questions that I've got. Okay, my first question. My first question is, that I've got from the staff is, do you think people should buy automatic weapons? Okay, answered.
Ding. How fast was that answer, huh? Didn't have to try.
Oh God. Okay. Favorite fast food restaurant? Like if you're eating fast food, which one is it?
Chick-fil-A, easy.
Okay.
But I always want it on Sunday.
I've gotta eliminate them. They're not even fast food anymore.
What do you mean? Of course they are.
They are, but they're like the upper echelon. So remove Chick-fil-A. Who is it?
I don't eat red meat, so.
Oh boy.
But I still love McDonald's.
Yeah.
Gotta go with.
Gotta go Mickey D's. Good. Okay. Cool. Where am I? Okay. Here we go. If Donald Trump or Jeffrey Epstein wanted to buy a Komuso necklace, would you sell it to them?
Oh no. Okay, I would.
Okay.
Because maybe it helps them become more enlightened.
Yeah. Maybe he just
Probably
like
not.
maybe.
Can I sell it to him for like $1 million?
Yeah, you can sell it to whatever you want. Maybe Trump just like uses a Komuso, calms out, he doesn't tweet racist stuff. Okay, this is a crazy one. Who would you let babysit your kid, R. Kelly or Michael Jackson?
Thanks for that question. I'm going to go with R, right? Because at least R didn't.
I think at least R wasn't. Your kid is, how old's your kid?
1.5.
Yeah, so that's not, you're good. I think you're, I don't know. I'm saying you're good. Are you good?
But Michael, man.
That's his like.
I believe those kids.
Dude,
that some bad shit went down in those hotel rooms.
That's
and I would never leave my kid there. But I grew up with R's music. Obviously, he's done terrible things.
Yeah.
But I'd probably let him watch him if
you had to.
Yeah, if it was the afternoon and there was no drinking.
Right.
Boy, I'm gonna regret saying that.
You're gonna. But honestly, I do think when I think about that Michael Jackson thing, I just like I look at the parents. Would you ever let your kid sleep over?
I can't even imagine.
Would you ever? So like, what does that say with the parents? Obviously, Michael Jackson, like, okay, that's freaking crazy. But
you know what? Hold on though, because we don't want to be Monday morning quarterbacks either, right? Like,
sure.
Like I would never. Now that we know that something
terrible
happened,
right.
So you want to get perspective, but No.
Right.
Hell no. Kidding me?
Yeah, just he's just gonna sleep over in his bed.
No, and I have a son, and that if I had a daughter,
Yeah,
I mean,
forget it.
Are you kidding me? No way.
Forget it. Anyway, okay, East Coast, West Coast.
Oh, West Coast, 100%.
Hey.
I mean,
What's the deal with you about the West Coast?
So I feel like, we all have had past lives.
Yeah.
And in some past life, I did something really special in California.
Yeah.
When I'm there, my soul's on fire. I just feel the mountains, the coast, the redwood trees, Napa Valley, Vegas. Like it's all amazing. Joshua Tree.
Yeah.
It's just, and I'm sorry, no offense to like Fort Lauderdale.
Sure.
Love you, Lauderdale.
Right.
But I'd much rather live out west.
No, the West Coast is okay. Now, since you're a West Coast guy, this may be a little tricky. Of these states, where would you live with your family? Like, if you had to move to these states, which one would it be?
Feel something bad.
You've got Nebraska, North Dakota, or Wyoming.
Wyoming.
Why Wyoming?
Because it's
Kanye West.
I think of like
is Kanye West in Wyoming? I think he is he?
I picture myself fly fishing with my kids and and just having a wide open space, maybe the dog that
there you go.
that runs off into the hills.
Yeah.
And we're like,
who knows anything about Wyoming? Do you know
there-
anything about Wyoming?
Well, what I do know is that Yellowstone is there.
That's true.
Yellowstone National Park, so I'll take that. I
There you
mean,
go.
there's probably like 6 people that live there, but maybe
there you go.
we just get some nature,
Close to the park.
right? Nebraska, what is that, corn?
I don't know.
We got some football, but that's it.
All right, tell people where they can see Komuso, get connected with it, because I want people to see this thing.
Thank you. All right, so komusodesign.com, that's Komuso.
Give them a little bit about what it is.
Yeah, no, I'd love to introduce it. So Komuso is, I don't know if you can see this, but it looks like a whistle, right? But what it is it is a organic tool that slows your breath to calm your mind.
Yeah.
And it simply works like this. You just inhale through your nose and you exhale through it. And the simple function, like guys, it doesn't get simpler than this, is it extends your exhale to about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And what that does to your nervous system is it plays it down.
Yeah, man.
It lowers your blood pressure, lowers your heart rate. It calms your nerves. It lowers your cortisol. These are things that I didn't know when I was a kid. I mean, I was stressed out as a kid. I grew up. I stuttered a lot. I had all kinds of stomach issues because I was nervous.
Right.
Had just known how to breathe right.
Right.
Man, maybe it would have been better.
The coolest thing you told me about is just kind of when you take those short breaths, you're telling your brain to like enter that. You get crazy, or your adrenaline starts to pump up.
If you just right now for 30 seconds,
Right.
breathe like this,
Right.
you'd probably be ready to fight.
Right.
Right? Like you and I could fight right now.
Right.
It'd feel natural.
Right.
Right. But if you just did the opposite and took your exhale really long
Right.
and slow, within 2 minutes, you'd feel super calm. And guess what happens when you're calm? You're your best self.
Boom.
Any moment you've ever had in your life where something great happened, you were probably really calm and cool, right?
Right.
So what if we had a simple organic tool to just get us there? Because what happens when anxiety occurs, right? You get frazzled and you probably make a bad decision. You probably say something you didn't mean.
Right.
You probably get into a fight you shouldn't have gotten in, and it changes the course of your life. So what we created is something totally organic and patented that just does one thing.
Yeah.
It slows your breath. And when you realize you're breathing, your mind is focused on just your breath. And when
Right.
your mind is focused on your breath, you're here, you're now. And guess what? That's all that matters, right here, right now. What if my mind was thinking about, Michael Jackson with my kid? I probably wouldn't be doing a good job with
Right.
this.
I mean, get the hell out of here.
Even though you presented that option.
Oh, God.
So-
Well, dude, thanks for coming in. Thanks for sharing a little bit about Komuso. But, man, everyone, please follow this guy. He's one of my favorite people. And if you're in Fort Lauderdale, hug him soon, because I'm sure we're losing him to the West Coast at some point.
You're one of my favorite, too. I mean that. And so happy to be here.
Dude, thanks so much.
Thank you.